As I urged you when I was going to Macedonia, remain in Ephesus so that you may charge certain persons not to teach any different doctrine, nor to devote themselves to myths and endless genealogies which promote speculations rather than the stewardship from God that is by faith. The aim of our charge is love that issues from a pure heart and a good conscience and a sincere faith. That's what he's saying here, again. So in this morning's text, he says, by rejecting the aim of the charge, rejecting this pure conscience, this sincere faith, some have made a shipwreck of their faith. Among whom, here he's calling them out by name, are Hymenaeus and Alexander, whom I've handed over to Satan that they may learn not to blaspheme. So, there's a way to swerve from what's going to keep us in the water. Right? These guys made a shipwreck of their faith by swerving from something. What did they swerve from? They swerved from a sincere faith and a clear conscience. And what were they doing? They were being motivated by bad desires. They were false teaching. And in chapter 6 of this letter, it tells us why. It says that they were motivated by greed, that they thought that this godliness thing was a means for gain. And so that's what the false teachers would do. But we can all fall into this if we allow the bad desires that reside in each of us to motivate our desires and actions. So what is Paul talking about? I've handed these men over to Satan. These false teachers, these guys are corrupting the church. I've handed, what is he doing? Is he making deals with Satan? Does Paul got it like that? He's like, Satan, you give me Barnabas and Silas, and I'll give you Hymenaeus and Alexander, right? No. This goes back to why we have church membership. He's saying, Timothy, these guys are now out. This is why the local church it's a thing. It's a thing that we're to be a part of. Because this local church and the church is something we belong to, and it's separate from the world. And what is the world? The world is under the rule and reign of Satan, the prince of the power of air. And so he's saying, okay, let's kick Hymenaeus and Alexander out so that they may learn not to blaspheme. He's not saying give them to Satan just so Satan can eat them up and destroy them. He's saying give them to Satan so that they can learn. See that there's a difference. That being a part of the body and not being a part of the body. And he did the same thing in 1 Corinthians chapter 5. He says, when this man was doing some sins so heinous, that he says, you're to deliver this man to Satan for the destruction of the flesh, so that his spirit may be saved in the day of the Lord. This is corrective. It's not punitive. This isn't a punishment for the sake of, hey, Hymenaeus and Alexander, they did me bad on the road, kick them out so Satan can eat them up. No, this is we're hoping that there's some change here. We're hoping that they get the point. And it's what Jesus was telling us in Matthew chapter 18 when he said, where 2 or 3 of you are gathered in my name, I show up. Now, we pray that before we do a Bible study, and there's nothing wrong with praying that before a Bible study. There's nothing wrong with it. But that wasn't what Jesus was saying at the time. Okay? He says, truly, truly, I say to you, whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Again, I say to you, if 2 of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I among them. He's saying the church has the authority to act upon his behalf, because we're talking, hey, we make a decision down here and it's done in heaven. So he's tying things. And he's saying, you guys are now representing me. The church is now representing me on earth. And that is a great responsibility.